All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is David Mirikitani with Matt Chat. I'm pleased to be joined by the coach of the University of Nebraska, Mark Manning. Coach, thanks for jumping on with me.
Yeah, great to be with you, Dave.
I was teasing you about how much cooler your background is than mine. You got some nice stuff there. Jason High and I were in there a couple of years ago. We sat down with you and Jordan together. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was great. It was a good interview.
This is a very different time, Coach. And I wanted to get a hold of you because of A, what your team did this year, B, the times we're in, and then see how this affects USA Wrestling and the Olympic movement and all that. But I wanted to start with your team, and I guess we're kind of summarizing a lot of things right now, but your team won CKLV. Was ranked really high in the dual rankings. Capped it off with that huge win versus Ohio State with the Isaiah White overtime win, which was awesome. And then second at the Big Tens and qualified all 10 guys, which I guess let me start there. How many times has Nebraska qualified their entire team for nationals?
Well, I didn't realize someone came up to me and told me, "Hey, Coach, we did it in 2016." So we had done it one other time, which was pretty neat. But to do it with this team, it was really special. And who knows what'll happen? Would have happened, but it was nice to qualify all 10 guys, and really 9 of the guys, were in the top 6 in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
With Ridge Lovett in 7th at a really competitive weight class.
Competitive might be the understatement for 133.
Yeah. I know people wouldn't have wanted to see him at the NCAA tournament. So
yeah, he was going to be a bad draw for somebody for sure. So, one of the cool parts about doing these interviews and being a coach's son is you get to see leadership. And, I wonder what, when you get the notice, I was at the Big 12s literally doing the ESPN scramble cam, and I was telling my friends, like, literally 4 days later, the world shut down. It felt like, we were in a big place, you were in a sold out place, the rack, those kind of things. When you get the notice, how long does it sort of mentally take you to prepare the right words for your kids, and what did you say to your team?
Yeah, Dave, that's it was it just happened so quick. We were doing individual workouts that day, and we also had a couple of recruits coming in that Thursday night. So a lot happened that day very quickly, as far as us getting notified that the NCAA tournament wasn't going to happen. And we had about an hour. I sent out a message to our guys and said, "Hey, mandatory team meeting, 4:00. I mean, I think we got the news around maybe 2:30, quarter to 3, something like that. And a lot of things had to happen. And I called those recruits and made sure their parents didn't get them on the plane, because we would have had to send them right back. But so dealing with that, and then just talking to, our administration here, my bosses had really what I need to tell our guys, and hope, is there hope in our message,
Yeah.
Besides just, hey, the NCAA tournament's not happening. Is it, is eligibility issues, and what's their lives going to look like beyond, right now. So a lot of tough questions, but also just a lot of tough times for those guys to be able to digest. Wow, the NCAA tournament's not happening. I just got done with a workout. I'm trying to compartmentalize. What am I going to do? I mean, I'm sure those guys didn't think of those things. And we weren't really thinking about those things either. Then the next thought is, they're probably, what are they going to do with the Olympic trials, which is 2 weeks after the NCAA tournament, and then all that business. So you kind of never get out of that realm of
Always
uncertainty.
looking ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that uncertainty is always in your mind, and you know, times like this, you got to lean on your faith and know that there's a there's a just more there's something more powerful than just wrestling or just sports, and whatever it is it's that there's a purpose for it, and so just move on with our lives and do the best you can. That's what our sport teaches us.
Yeah, certainly to overcome adversity and understand that life isn't fair and certain guys are born with certain skills and tools and some other guys aren't. Yeah, so for sure on that. But I mean, you your team, I had Brian Snyder on in December, right after you guys won CKLV. And
Yeah.
one of the reasons we did was not only you guys won the tournament, but just how close your team was, and there were all these photos that had popped up from the tournament. And it was almost like a high school team in a good way, where like 4 or 5 guys, or, you're wrestling and 4 or 5 guys are over there, and then I'm wrestling and 4 or 5 guys are over there. And as a coach, that's not always good because you're like, hey, man, you need to get ready for your match. But the camaraderie, the closeness. And I thought that was really interesting because, and I don't want to offend the Zach Dominguez's and those guys of the world, but Nebraska does not have the high school depth of like a Pennsylvania and Illinois and California. So you don't have like 20 kids that all went to high school in the same state and all went to we're all on junior dual team together. You have kids, literally, you're a melting pot from all over the country.
Yeah.
So I know every team is special to a coach. I coached college for 20 years. I know how my dad felt about his team and I felt about our team. But this feels like I don't want to be disrespectful to any other teams, but this team feels like it was really special to you guys.
Absolutely. It was really unique. It was we had 3 seniors on the team. Well, we had 6 total, but 3 that were the varsity guys that wrestled at Big Tens. But we just had great camaraderie, like you mentioned, and also it's just togetherness. It's really one of our mottos. Tough together. And so everyone can have something, but are they doing it? And everyone can talk about family, but are they doing it? And I think, kids that are on our team and in our program, they really feel that and they see that, and they get to experience it. And I think that's the difference is, we do have guys from all over, but it's just they come together, and this team's really come together. And I think, it's guys like Taylor Vance and Mikey Lavarola and Eric Schultz and CJ Red. CJ, man, is really he's a big cock. He's a really mature young man. He's really matured in his wrestling, but that's what you want in college athletics. That's what it's for,
Yeah.
That's what college athletics is for, is preparing these guys to be successful in life. And I really see big things for our guys moving forward, but also just CJ Red. He's really a spark to our team, and there's a number of our guys too that provide that spark and that chemistry. We kind of what you're talking about, and it's just good. I see other guys, younger guys like Peyton Robb, a guy that's gonna be really special not only on the mat but also from that standpoint. He's gonna grow and develop and provide more of that. He's a solid dude. He's a solid guy.
Yeah.
And not just physically but mentally. He brings a lot to the table, and I think guys feed off him and like they do each other, and so it's fun.
Yeah, you mentioned Red, and you could hear it in your voice and your eyes. Like, he's a kid that the last couple of years has really wrestled well when it counted. Took some losses during the season.
Absolutely.
That like us on the outside, we're like, he's gonna wrestle better than his seed. He's gonna wrestle better than his rank.
Yeah.
He's a guy that can turn losses around. And I would imagine that confidence, when you have a guy like that, the other kids on the team are like, well, look, if he can do it, he's not, he might have lost to somebody 7-4 a month ago. He's not worried about it. Like I'm gonna do me. And you see him, and even a kid like a Davenport, who didn't wrestle for you guys this year, redshirted, but it seemed like he was kind of an emotional spark plug for you guys too, kind of your hype guy, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And then another guy who I'm familiar with, Isaiah White, as I'm friends with Coach Powell, but that duel in Ohio State, and because Isaiah was a transfer to you guys from D2. If this was his last season, what are your memories of Zay?
Man, wow, it's tough. I feel for Isaiah and Colin Perrington, who really Colin Perrington. A lot of people probably overlooked him, but not our coaching staff, because one, he's about 6'1", cut a lot of weight for 149, super disciplined young man, super hardworking guy, put so much in the sport. He ended up getting third at Big Tens, not in a really tough weight class.
Yeah.
And so I just feel for those guys. And David Jensen, he's going on to med school. If he gets a year back, he probably, for the most part, I haven't talked to him in depth about it, but he's probably not going to accept that if that would happen. But, they put a lot into the sport, That's our sport is different than basketball. And I know that's another spring or winter sport that's getting considered for eligibility issues. Well, we're they have about 900 transfers a year. We're not in that. Yeah. We're not in that realm as far as wrestling. It's not like, that's more of a team. We're more individual right now. And then, yeah, there's a team element, but you feel for those guys, the sacrifices they make and what they put in to the sport and for their career to be successful.
Yeah. And so I think, we're recording this on Monday morning. So, because people will watch it afterwards, and the announcement on whether or not the winter sports are going to get another year of eligibility is coming sometime today. Yeah. So, I think most of us on the surface are like, just give it to them. It's the right thing to do. Yeah. And one of the arguments I made was, well, look, if you knew you weren't going to get to wrestle the Nationals, let's say you knew this at the beginning of the year, you would have redshirted everybody in the world that had a red shirt. And some other guys might have gotten some injuries. So they got a sixth year, that's just how it works, oh, sprained ankle, those kind of things. So, but there's a bunch of logistical issues, right? Like there's just kids that are like, hey, my body's beat up. I don't know if I can put myself through another season of big time college wrestling. There's kids that have jobs waiting for them.
Yeah.
There's the scholarship problem, where like, I'm assuming, I know what a good and tireless recruiter you are. Isaiah White's money is probably already allocated to somebody coming in. That's how you have to do it. Yeah. So if you were the commissioner or the czar of college sports and you could sort this out, how would you sort it out?
The eligibility issue?
Yeah.
It would be really, that's a tough dynamic, because I know what we have here at Nebraska, mm-hmm. but not every, I read an article last week about Eastern Washington. Well, they don't have wrestling, but they have winter sports. And I think the athletic director was a young lady there, and she was talking about the expense of $375,000 for 8 sports. If they extra scholarships, she was just projecting out. And with no basketball money this year from the NCAA, well, a lesson portion, I'm not sure all the logistics as far as exact amounts, but so you get kind of a double whammy as a school and as a conference. You don't get NCAA or basketball money, and then you're not getting, and then you got to pay for extra scholarships.
Yeah.
Financially, I just don't see it happening, them saying yes. Should they do it? Absolutely. Um, I don't know the answer in regards to how they're going to do it or how they would manage it, because it's not just given a senior, it's given the redshirt freshman. It's given, hey, CJ Red wants to be a 4-time All-American. Mikey Lavarola wants, so you're going to lessen their value? There's no way. I mean, you can't give just a senior. You have to give everyone an extra year. And I that's a big ask. But it is also a shame that guys aren't getting the chance to be a national champion, to be an All-American. And that is something that, in their career, it's not totally fulfilled. I'm sure that's how they feel. It's not a fulfilled feeling like, wow, I got to go and do it, It's laying it on the line. You got to lay it on the line, and they understand that, but they don't get that opportunity. And so it's a strange thing for them,
Yeah. A friend of mine was saying, like using your laying on the line part, like the best thing to do is end your season with and win. The next best is to lose close. The next best is to lose by a lot. But the worst is to not get to end it.
Yeah.
And you're right, because there's a, young, like Spencer Lee has a chance to be a 4-time national champion, Obviously you're trying to find guys to beat him, but he's a guy that's the face of our sport in college right now. And that's historical. I mean, the number of guys that have done that is few and far between. Yeah. And it's, like Gable would have done that had that sort of asterisk had he won his senior year, because they didn't let freshmen wrestle back then, So, but these kind of things, like, it's so top down, right? Like if you go, okay, we're just going to give it to the seniors. Well, that's not fair because 330 guys qualified. And then if you go, well, 330 guys qualified, well, you got guys that are really good backups that could probably start for a lot of guys in the country that would have, if they had known this. I mean, the machinations that are so, you move this piece and 4 other pieces, are affected by it. It's, I'm with you. I hope it happens. And I think there are some schools that could raise the money or absorb the cost, probably a Big Ten school. The point you made about where you lose, the basketball tournament money, I saw it was originally supposed to be like 900 million spread out. Now it's like 220. And that's a gigantic difference. And then, you guys are part of the Big Ten network money, where now these events are not going to happen. Well, they're not going to pay these schools if there's no product to put on the air. I mean, we're all basically watching ESPN Classic right now. Everything's reruns.
Yeah, a lot of reruns.
Yeah. Let's jump over to the USA Wrestling side of it, because obviously you have, several guys that are Olympic hopefuls. I mean, the primary guys, obviously Jordan, but James Green, is a guy with a legitimate chance in that bracket. And it's, you start with combining the 10 weights to 6. That puts James and Jordan in the same weight.
Yeah.
I talked to Snyder about that, and his answer was really, he talked about the family aspect of what you guys do. And, you're in a unique situation there where Jordan's sitting. So Jordan can actually root for James, and then hopefully for you guys, you hope you have an inner squad and you and Snyder flip coins on who sits in which corner. So, but the other thing that's interesting, people have lost a lot of money betting against Jordan Burroughs over the years. So let me start by saying that. But from the outside looking in, if this gets pushed back a year, it seems like it favors the younger guy, like it favors a Dake over a Jordan. So Jordan's great on social media, posts, a super inspirational guy, really well thought out, obviously.
Yep.
But there's peaking and there's cycles. There's all these high level things that guys like you do that you just don't make a big deal about because it seems arrogant, but it throws everything off. And, you can't be doing kettlebells, and it's not the same thing as what you need to be doing. How does this affect? Let's start with Jordan and James, and then we'll go big picture like USA Wrestling. Like, how does it affect a Jordan and a James?
Well, it's just a delay in their life, really. It's they just announced today, July 23rd of 2021, the Olympics are going to happen. They're going to call it 2020, but which is smart for Japan. But in the Olympic Committee, it's just another commitment. It's another year of commitment. James is planning on going, definitely through 2024, and then reevaluate how long he wants to wrestle after that. But for Jordan, this was going to be the last year. But so he knows, hey, I got another year.
Yeah.
It's not just it's when you have 3 kids and it's a big commitment. It's a big decision. But I know in his heart, this is how he wants to go out. He wants to go out on top, and he wants to go out with a bang. And, there's always doubters out there. And I think Jordan has learned a lot from 2016, and that's made him a lot stronger, a lot more grittier, a lot more from the grittier, not from just the competitor standpoint, but just from the mental standpoint. And that's made him a stronger individual. And this is just it's like a loss. Hey, I don't want to go back. Okay, I got one more year. Yeah. It's a gut punch. And hey, I got to go back. I got to wrestle for consolation, or I got to wrestle. Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. It's a gut punch, and now you got to react to it. And you say, hey, all right, so I got one more year. 20 years from now, 25 years from now, will it really matter one more year? Because one more year goes by so quickly.
Yeah.
But right now, in the here and now, it feels like, oh my goodness.
Yes. Well, how the amount of work you guys are going to put in those 12 months is not like, I don't mean to, I have a 9-to-5 job. It's not like I, come in, make calls, put proposals together. That work is hard, but the work that you guys are doing is literally world top of the line in a sport that's way more demanding than most people. So it's not like you're doing office work, the amount of stress in his body. And you said something about Jordan that makes sense, but it triggered a question in my head. You said that he wants to go out on top. So I don't know if you could possibly answer this. It might be an unfair question, but had Jordan won the 2019 World and then this came out, do you think it would have been easier for him to walk away?
No, it was always 2020, and I think, I think he wants to go out and be an Olympic champion. And
Ty John too, right?
Yeah, Ty John, but really, I think that got put in the background, Dave. That was he was kind of chasing that for a while. Now I don't think that's relevant in his mind. I don't know it, but at one time it was. Definitely was. But now it's more. Jordan's lived out his journey is different than John's was, and which is, we all knew it probably was going to be, but it's fascinating, right? How people's lives and careers develop. And in 2010, not that many people knew who Jordan Burroughs was. So, in 2020, it's fascinating. It's fun. That's why you live, man. That's why you work out. It's that's how you train to put yourself in that position to say, man, I want to go down as the best ever. And so I think Jordan is going to just, recalculate things, and we'll make some changes as far as training, what you're talking about. Obviously, the second this news came out, we had a practice on a Saturday, and then it's like, man, let's shut it down, man. Get off the mat, do some, cardio, some cross training, and, there's no tournament in how many months from now, who knows what's going to happen in the fall for these guys. the freestyle guys, we're just on a holding pattern. So take some time, spend with your families. Both James and Jordan have young children and wives that they want to spend time with, and get away from it a little bit, even though you can't really travel much. So it's kind of it's got everyone on hold now.
I know. I want to circle back to USA Wrestling, but I remember Snyder was on, and one of the cool things when you talk to guys like when we have dinner privately, the stories are awesome, and you try to get a story or two out for people to hear. And he told this story about the year that Jordan won the Worlds with the injury, with the ankle injury, broken ankle, yeah. And he said that they were basically the only sparring or anything he could do was like stance in motion and then some stuff in a sand pit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's told you this, but I just wanted you to hear this. He goes, the only reason Jordan Burroughs won a gold medal that year was Mark Manning's unwavering belief in him. He goes, it never even dawned on Manning to think he wasn't going to win. And he goes, and then we get to the tournament, and he goes, Dake and the other guys are upset because he's going to wrestle. And he goes, and the Russians are like this far away from us watching us warm up. And
yes.
He hit me with 2 of those doubles, and he's like, we're good. He's going to be fine. Tell me a little bit about your faith, like just your faith in that. And I'm sure you probably had doubts, but that you projected faith and confidence that whole time. Because I think as a coach, sometimes you have to put your own maybe real emotions like, hey, I don't know if he can do this aside. Because if he thinks you don't know if he can do it, he probably doesn't think he can do it. As good, as strong as Jordan is mentally, he still needs a coach.
Yeah.
So, just walk me through that, because that story was awesome and it fascinated me.
Yeah, you know what? When it happened, and then so I was at the hospital. I got to talk to the doctor before surgery, before he was, what he was going to do. He explained what he was going to do to Jordan, and then after, and he told me, hey, he's not going to break his ankle. He was telling me, as a farmer, he welded his ankle together.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he said, I made that thing so solid. And he went like this with his fists. I made that thing so solid. I put an extra pin in. There's no way he's going to break his ankle. Now, can he wrestle with the pain? That's what he's going to have to deal with. So right then I said, this guy's got a high pain tolerance. I saw him break a molar. No one knows this story. Break a molar in his tooth. Wrestling the MMA guys, like wrestled at Northern Colorado. I can't remember his name. He's an All-American.
Justin Gaethje.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not up to.
Yeah.
But he was wrestling that guy at Las Vegas tournament when he was out at outside of Vegas a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? And they used to have it Buffalo Bills or something. And Jordan, his freshman year, broke his back molar, hit his jaw on the and I mean broke it off, bleeding profusely, and we had to default him from the NCAA, from that Cliff Keen tournament that year, because he had to go to a dentist in Vegas. And anyway, I knew his pain tolerance was really high, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And
so we had 26 days to get him ready for the World Championships, and got him on the bike, and he pedaled did a lot of weights. And like you said, we got him in a sand beach volleyball pit, and just did a lot of creative things with him to get him working and keep him in good shape. He was already in good wrestling shape. So, just as a wrestler, when you take off 3 weeks from the mat, you feel like, wow, I can't wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe he drilled right before we left. And then when we got there, Zeke wanted him to go a match, right, with Brian, and make sure that he could actually go, even though I told Zeke, dude, this guy can go. Yeah. Right? Wanted to see it. So Jordan did that with Brian. And that's what Brian was talking about, get hit but with a couple double legs. But I knew he could still wrestle, And so I never doubted that he was going to wrestle, and I never doubted that he could win it because I just believed in the guy, and I thought there's no way, there's no way any of these guys can beat him. So
It's
when his
interesting
juice started flowing, and I was good that he wasn't going to get hurt. When I heard that the doctor told me he won't break his ankle, it's going to be painful, but we'll get it through, get him through. So.
Well, your answer is interesting because I actually thought you might say I actually might have had some doubts, but you literally had no doubts. But it's based on your relationship with him and probably not just the Moeller story, but 100 stories you've seen where he's gone through pain in practice, and you guys have pushed him to the brink, and he's, came out the other side of it. And that's what people do is they keep pushing that breaking point further and further away. The last thing I wanted to ask you about, just big picture, was so USA Wrestling obviously has some decisions to make now, like, where we stood going into the Olympic trials, the NCAA champions were going to qualify for the freestyle or Greco, and then there's going to be a last chance tournament. And the last chance tournament was originally going to be 1, now is going to be 2 because there was no Dave Schultz. And so now you're a guy that's integral on the USA Wrestling scene, not just your guys, but your RTC and your knowledge that you share with other guys, and vice versa. But, you're not like you've been on the scene for like 6 months or something. So obviously USA Wrestling's got some tough decisions. It made sense to me that Tokyo would just literally move it back 52 weeks because now every country's kind of got the same thing.
Yeah.
You think that that's what, like, the carryover, like, do you think they'll just leave it where, Jordan sits to the finals, Dake sits to the semis and all that kind of stuff?
Man, I haven't really thought about that too much, Dave, actually. I'm not sure because there is no world championship this year, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure how they're going to determine that, or they're just saying, hey, really, it's just we lost that time and we're going to pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. They'll just say, hey, the 2021 NCAA champ gets in there.
Yeah.
Right?
It kind of makes sense. Yeah.
But I don't know, where they put, they've rescheduled the trials. It's still going to be at Penn State. I would think probably so, but what's scheduled? They got concert there, Bryce Jordan Arena. I'm not sure what those decisions have been.
Yeah.
From logistically from that end, but good questions on that. That's going to be.
Do they reach out to guys like you, like to some of the key coaches around the country to get input on these kind of decisions, or do they just make a decision and then let you guys know?
Usually they, as an organization, they're going to make a decision based on what they feel. I mean, they got, Les Gutchess and Rich Bender and Bill and Joe and Cody Bickley. They have a lot of people they probably lean on. In some realms, they might reach out to, in some questions, they might reach out to us, different coaches, and see what we project. But I'm not sure. I think they're probably just waiting. The news today was probably big for them that they had to actually date. Now they can go back.
You work backwards.
Absolutely. Yeah. And say, hey, can we still do it at Penn State? Do we have to find another venue? And, man, there's a lot of scheduling dates, like what you mentioned. When are we going to do last chance? Or are we going to go with the same format? Man, I'm sure.
Like, is there going to be a Bill Farrell? And obviously a lot of this is all completely dependent on when the quarantines get lifted, which none of us know. We're all guessing and, there's a date set and then it gets pushed back. And, no matter how it gets set, people are going to be unhappy. The days people go back, people are going, it's too soon, and other people think it's too late because of the economic impact. And yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's the problem is a lot of these are great questions, but there's no answers because just people don't know.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, you guys have one of the interesting things is you guys have a really good team coming back. you know, and I looked on your roster, 4 seniors: Zach Hensley, David Jensen, Colin Purinton, Isaiah White. So if they didn't give these kids eligibility, you obviously lose, you know, Purinton and White, and then, you know, you guys are splitting time at heavyweight on who is starting, but, you know, 2.5 starters for sure. But you got some good kids coming in, and you got some kids that are probably, you know, maybe move up or down a weight class. But I mean, you have to be optimistic about your program for the foreseeable future here, right?
Absolutely. We're really excited. It's it's great times. We have really good kids on our team, high character guys, and then we have 6 really great kids coming in, and really excited about these guys joining us, because they're going to just keep this thing rolling. And we're excited about some of the guys we're recruiting right now. So it's great to be a Husker, and it's fun times. And Robert Kokish has really added a lot to our staff. Him and Tyler Berger, they're doing a great job. And obviously Brian is a tremendous benefit. And he's just great. We have such a great relationship, and he adds tremendous amount to the program. And they're all Huskers, so they all understand the culture of our team and our program, and that really that is really seen by our team. Our guys feel that, and then that just breeds itself. And so I think people really feel that family atmosphere in our program, and they want to be a part of it. I know I would. And you know, it's fun. It's fun. We're going to do some great things here moving forward.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, I was super interested to see how your team was going to do at nationals, because you got 10 through, obviously, and all the front door, didn't need any wild cards or any of that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, and when you look at how many guys were young, you're like, not only are they going to be good, but they're going to be good. You know, they're going to be good for a while. And, you know, these guys that may place 5th or 6th this year are probably going to do better next year. At another time, I want to pick your brain on, should they give these guys another Olympic red shirt, how all that stuff works. But I feel like that's a big can of worms. But more importantly, I'm hoping the quarantine lifts soon. I talked to Jason High. We're going to try to sneak up there for a football game this fall. And
Love it.
He's been nagging me. I'm trying to get back in shape. I'm going to fight in the World Championships at the end of the year. And he said, you'll know you're in shape if you can do an Airdyne workout with Manning. So that's my litmus test. So
good. We'll do it, Dave.
All right. Hey, Coach, I really appreciate it. You always make me smile, and your insights are fascinating. I wish you the best of luck. I know it's a weird time right now, but you know, Godspeed, stay safe, and you post the most positive stuff on social media. So please thank her for that.
You bet. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Yep. You too.